All right.
I don't know. Okay. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be fun. I think we'll have a fun conversation. So to get started, maybe I can just ask you to describe your business and maybe a little bit of your background for folks, since I know you, but they won't know you.
Oh, so my name is Ari Zorn. I guess to start, I moved to the Berkshires in 1992 to manage a restaurant called Dos Amigos, which I ended up owning, purchasing. I was a chef owner after a while. After that, I got laid off. I ended up becoming a director at Eagleton School with many different titles, but once again got laid off, and now I'm Zorn Core Fitness, where I do personal training. Yeah.
So what's that business like, Zorn Core Fitness? How does that, what exactly do you do?
So primarily it's referred to as strength training. So a lot of times I'm one-on-one with clients. I design programs for the individual because no one body is the same. So using medicine balls, physio balls, to regular dumbbells, which I can turn, you can see them, to dumbbells and all of that stuff in this room. Yeah, and that's what I do. I teach you how to use your body, your core, proper breathing, technique, and form, and that's what that's solely about.
Do you teach classes too, or is it all just one-on-one?
I started off, well, I do couples. Sometimes I do couples. I don't have that many right now, and especially because of COVID, I haven't had couples in the studio, but I did start off outside. When I had my van all lettered up and we were with groups and we'd do a whole bunch of exercises in the parking lot. And sometimes that was anywhere from 2 to 15 people. And we do a loop at Jug End through the woods, which is it's a really nice hike. But I was doing groups and couples. That became just too exhausting. Couples are fine, but the groups, that setting was just too many personalities to manage at once, and then not knowing who was going to be here each time was just frustrating.
Yeah. So now you mostly do sort of one-on-ones or 2 people at a time.
Yeah, and still, and Zoom,
Oh, you're doing still online stuff now?
Yeah, so it would be ideal if I could alternate from live to Zoom to live to Zoom, but it plays out how people's schedules play out. I try, but that's hard to do. Like today, I only had 1 Zoom client out of 8 clients. And
people are liking that remote, those remote lessons, and they're continuing.
It's really good.
Are they doing them just because of COVID, or are they doing them because they like them?
I have people that mostly are doing it because of COVID. And all my clients are older, so they've all had to adapt to this. And I think now that they've adapted to it, they like it. I didn't think I would like it, but I have to say, for some clients, it's actually better, it's really interesting. But they're actually on time because they're in their house.
Oh yeah.
And they seem to be a little bit more focused, some of them.
Yeah.
And I'll have to admit it gives me a break. Because it's hard to go 8 hours straight, 6 hours straight, talking. And then that gives me an actual break. I can actually walk and grab some water or even eat something.
Yeah.
Where in the past I was not getting a break. It just kind of felt kind of frantic and nonstop. And now it doesn't feel that way.
Like a treadmill, they're constantly coming in and you're going and going, and the next one, they leave and the next one comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, but COVID definitely, though, when I go back to back with clients now, that stress of the signs on the doors, make sure you come in wearing a mask. So a lot of my clients in this area, they're really good. They're pretty good about all of this. So they'll wait in their car, and then if they don't know if I have a Zoom or not, let's say they don't see a car, I text them because I know that they're out there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them to come in, but a lot of them are really good. So I barely get people crossing, but the transition of cleaning in between.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But at first it was kind of felt like, oh my God, there's a whole nother layer to this. And now it feels like, okay, this is becoming the norm.
Just kind of
Like,
normal.
so
Yeah.
now I'm just nonstop cleaning.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm cleaning while a client's in here.
Yeah.
And they're just used to it, and people are adjusting to that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's been okay, actually, that transition, I think.
That's cool. I think a lot of businesses are finding that, a lot of my clients are dog trainers, and they went through the same kind of transition, like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Geez, maybe I need to do stuff remotely. This is going to be terrible. And then, oh, it's okay. And then, oh, actually there are some benefits to this, and the clients are getting used to it. And we're getting used to doing our Zoom, meetings, and yeah.
Change is hard. I was on a Zoom meeting last night with the NAACP for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Especially for someone like me who doesn't like to sit still.
Yeah.
It was really, really hard. And they always make comments because I move.
About you moving around. Yeah.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
Yeah. On the other hand, you could all be in a meeting room around a conference table for 3 hours, and that, could be worse because you can't sort of stand up and move around or something.
That's right. That's right.
So you've had, we were just talking about it before we got on, so two of your own businesses. You had the restaurant before, Dos Amigos, and then now you have this one now. And in a lot of ways, they're vastly different businesses. So right now it's just you're the trainer and you're selling your expertise and your services. So what was it like at Dos Amigos when you owned the restaurant? Just, what was the size of the restaurant? That kind of thing.
I think so. At Dos, which was very different, I think we could seat 75. And as we said earlier, so I had staff. That changes everything. If I could duplicate myself, it would have been great. If I could duplicate myself, Heidi, my sous chef, and one of our main waitresses, it would have been great. Relying on other people, I find is something I don't like. Nor do I like having a boss. Personal training is, like you said, I'm marketing myself. I can bring all my skills and know what I'm doing, and have that control of my environment. Dos Amigos, you answer to a lot of people. You're dealing with the government more from every form of the business aspect, and talking about, like you said, marketing. You have to get your name out there from advertising, on, and all your purveyors and all your inventory. And is everyone going to show up on time tonight? And, oh my God, we don't have a dishwasher. All of that, all these multiple nights where it's a busy summer night and I'm cooking and I'm running over and I'm doing dishes. It's a totally different world. From that, but I guess I'll let you ask the questions. But the restaurant world was very, very, very nonstop, very stressful. You're relying on the seasons. The seasons seem to never be the same anymore, so the mud season versus the winter. I mean, I saw multiple years where one year it only snowed, there were multiple snowstorms, but only on the weekends. So that crushed your business.
Yikes,
In the past, if a storm happens on the right time, you could be as busy as summertime. Everything was just unpredictable. You never knew how it was going to be. When I owned the restaurant, that was a Clinton era. And the economy at times in the beginning was just booming. I mean, there are lines out the door, it was just endless cash, but it was a nonstop frantic pace.
How many employees would you have there? Like you said, it was you and your wife Heidi and a sous chef and a bartender, and then you had wait staff too, right? Dishwashers.
Yeah. And, I was also responsible for payroll and, you name it, all of that come with running a business with people in it. But so in a night, so you probably had up to, 8 or 9 of us a night. So I probably had a total staff of maybe 15 to 20 people that I would rotate. but that turnover was like the turnover of employees was, that was a nonstop thing.
Yeah.
Like totally nonstop. It's nice. This business, I only answer to myself. It's only my mood that I deal with, that I can change. It's like, I love that. But now you mentioned something about the race thing, which was quite interesting. So part of the reason why I got into the restaurant business, first of all, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was terrified facing the world. I really was. I mean, you come into the family, my mom's a lawyer, my dad's this, and, I felt like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm an idiot. I better pick something or my mom's just going to I can't fail in my mom's eyes. So that is truly the reason I like to cook. While I went into culinary arts, I would have gone into personal training and physical therapy, but they weren't really offering that stuff back then because that's my other passion. Sorry, where was I?
I don't know. We were talking about how race had affected
yes.
why you went into the restaurant business in the first place.
Because,
so you felt like that was family pressure of trying to succeed at something to go to the.
I didn't know. No, well, yeah, and society pressure, you can call it. We're all supposed to know what we want to do and pick something. And I remember like, oh my God, SATs, and I'm not wired that way for school testing. And it was a pretty hard time, I thought. But the race factor, I always knew I wanted to be my own boss. So I learned racism at such a young age, and I've worked multiple jobs, and I didn't like bosses in general. Like I can only remember one boss that I was like, wow, that is a really good person. And that person taught me a lot. Normally it was, man, they treated me horrible. And those are the experience I learned. Like when we make our mistakes, usually they're our biggest learning lessons in life. These bosses, they taught me how I didn't want to be. And they made me realize that I can't work for people. I'm highly opinionated. I do a good job, and I want to take over, and I don't want to be bothered. So that's a problem. So I knew at a young age, I told my friend, we both said that we would own restaurants by the time we were 27. And that was I was in 6th grade. I had a goal that I was going to open up a restaurant. And part of it was like, I'm Black and life is unfair for Black people in the work world. I'm never going to be able to do what I want to do if I don't work for myself. So that was like a 2-piece.
That's amazing.
Goal. Yeah.
That's amazing. And for people who don't know, do you mind sharing a little bit about your family background?
Yeah. So I am adopted into a Jewish family. I really didn't get in. We didn't really get into the religion part. We did while the grandparents were alive that were survivors. They escaped. They're Germans, and they met on the boat, which sounds funny.
So we might have to explain why we laughed so much at that, and that's because your wife is German, who actually also happens to be my sister. So I'm German. My sister's German. You married a German, so yeah, that's why we laughed at that.
Yeah, which is funny. Yeah. It is funny. But
so I'm sorry. So you were adopted by a Jewish family and grew up in Brookline in a white family.
Yeah. So right. Yes.
And still, yeah, and sorry. Still your experience. You knew when you're 6 years old that your life for you was going to be a certain way, and you wanted to take control of that.
Yeah, and because I had a mother that actually, she explained it to me. I mean, going into high school, I knew. I just dealt with enough that I said, wow, this isn't right. This isn't fair. I'm going to have to write my own script here because I will not be a robot controlled by the masses determining my path. But yes, so adopted into this white family, married to your sister, my German wife, really good family. And I found my birth mother recently. So that's all that all ties into all of this in some interesting way of coming full circle in life and now knowing who I am and what I want to be and what I'm all about, which therefore, you said we wouldn't mention it, but ties into divine and what it truly means to me.
Yeah.
And everything that about helping, about giving back, because I feel like I've been given something that is so unique that it would be a crime for me not to give back what I have learned. You know, that's like in my soul. It's like
Wow.
deep
Yeah.
in me. Yeah, I have to give back. I mean, there's got to be some reason why I was put through all of it, all of this stuff, and to sit back and not do anything with it. I just think that would be a shame.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that was deep. That got real deep real fast.
Yeah, that's me, right? I try to control that. I don't know how.
That's awesome. Um, one thing that I know that you're really good at, and I think this, goes back to marketing and how marketing for your personal trainer business is different from the restaurant, is I know that you're really good at the relationships, and that goes back to giving back and being part of the community. So what for your personal trainer business, where do you get your business from, or how do you get your business, or what, do you do marketing, advertising, kind of what
So,
works for you?
you know how I feel about marketing? I find it really interesting. So I am word of mouth. I can't truly say that any marketing I did a thing for my business. And that includes my website. You know, like everyone says, oh, you got to have a website or you're just not relevant. I totally disagree. You start putting in the hard work. And like you said, I am really good with people. You establish relationships, and I am pure word of mouth. And that's honestly what that has been all about for my business. Most of my clients are very much local based, even within South Egremont. And you build a trust and a bond with your community, and if you know how to handle people right, which I guess is a gift, then you do all right.
Yeah.
I do my best to keep people safe. I listen to people. It's like a therapy session. You establish a relationship with somebody. Sometimes that may not work. Sometimes you may be very different, although it's only happened to me twice. But where we just didn't connect whatsoever.
Yeah.
With me with a client. But that's truly what it's about. It's about how you learning how to handle people and communicating, which a lot of things are about. I don't think it's a whole lot different than a marriage
I
or
was going to
many
say,
other
yeah.
things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or being a lawyer, I'm talking to people about, they're sometimes going through a bad time in their life. It's important. I think it's probably for so many service industry jobs, and whenever you're working with a client, you've got to have that relationship there, seems to me. And then when you do a good job and they're happy with you, and then they're a good referral source,
Right.
seems like a huge
Yeah.
part of what we do. So yeah, I know you've got another big project that you're working on. If we want to talk about it a little bit, about Divine.
Okay.
You're like, what am I doing? And I guess maybe, something relevant would be, how what you've learned up to now has helped you or spurred you to do that, or helped you to do that.
So the best way to answer that is divine is, what is the proper word for this? Everything in my life, I believe every experience, everything I've gone through has led us to this moment of divine. It's like, once again, it's like everything came full circle from everything I've been doing in my life, from my relationships with my community to the students, to school, every little aspect from nature has led to this. It's like, it's almost, what's the word? It's almost strange how this has all come together so perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
If I had to write, what?
we
Sorry.
probably have to describe a little bit what it is, because people who are listening will be from all over and they won't know. So do you want me to do that?
Yeah, you go for it.
So Ari's, so we're in Massachusetts, where cannabis was legalized a few years ago. And so Ari is applying for a license to open a retail cannabis shop, a marijuana store in their town, and is well on the way to doing that. And one of the things about the cannabis laws in Massachusetts is there's a big social equity component to it. So there's a recognition of the effects that the drug wars had on people of color in the past, and at least an attempt in the statute to try to counteract that, or whatever you want to say, how to try to ameliorate the effects of the past laws to the extent that that's working or not is under, that could be debated,
Yeah, right.
but that that's
Yeah.
part of the intent. Yeah. So that shop is going to be called Divine. And so that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. So you feel like everything that you've done so far is coming together to,
Yeah, it's just almost eerie. It's almost like I truly can't believe what's happened here from, from every business I've owned within this community. I mean, wow, like what a strong community base we have. I'm almost shocked by the response that the communities have had to me and Heidi, who is my wife, Christina's sister, and the support that we've got from them. I mean, that Divine crowdfunding platform, wow, I cannot believe the turnout we got from that. I mean, it speaks in volume. There are people that are investing purely because it's us.
Yeah.
They have no interest in this industry. They're like, I got to support them.
Yeah.
It's like, it's weird. It's such an honor. It's like, I'm speechless about it sometimes.
And so I take kind of two things from that. And one is so that really comes to the importance of the relationships that you've built in the community and with your clients and with your neighbors and with your friends in the community, is a huge part of that. But also, like, imagine back at the end of Dos Amigos thinking like this was all a good experience, right? There were troubles along the way, right? That at the time, and this happens to everyone who's in business or even not in business, just in your career, that there are times when things are not going well and you think it's terrible. But you learn your lessons from those, right?
Oh yeah.
Different kinds of lessons that you learn from that, but those are all learning experiences that I think people have to go through. Then the good things and the bad things and the good things.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I actually, yes, to everything you said, but I actually feel like it's the bad times. It's the times that have taken me pretty much rock bottom that I recovered from, that made me stronger, even more than the good times. I don't struggle that much in the good times, right? You're not forced to dig out of a hole. You're not forced to look at yourself you're not forced to look in the mirror and say, whoa, this can't happen. Or if it's, especially when it's financial, just the thought of like, I failed, can't even mumble those words. At the thought of your kids looking you in your eyes, like that can't happen. That's not like that. It's not an option for me. You do it it takes to survive, and then you come out even stronger. So that's the other piece of this. It's like we've come out strong. I feel like we're swinging, and it's all positive stuff, and it's exciting. It's exciting. Sometimes it's so exciting that I can't even grasp it and take it in.
Yeah.
I'm excited, but I'm not sure about what I'm excited about, if that makes any kind of sense.
Right. Because if you spend too much time thinking about it, it'll just blow your mind and you won't.
Yes. So I push it back.
Yeah.
So I can continue to do what I'm doing. It's like right now we're all working, which I'm finding really hard at times. So today, is an 8-hour day. But to stay focused when there's so many other things that I'm doing and thinking about can be very, very hard. It's funny. Your father said to me, the thing that he said to me that resonates the most, he said, there's no job as important as your current job. Because I remember he said this to me a long time ago when I was thinking about another venture, and it stuck with me. And I'm like, damn, I got to take care of what I'm doing here.
Wow.
Even though I'm being so highly distracted by, Friends of Smiley's Pond, Divine, NAACP. And I realized this is the bread and butter right now.
Yeah.
Until something shifts. And it's really hard for me to stay focused on that at times. And nor do I want my clients to notice that I'm that distracted.
Yeah.
Lots of challenges, but it's all fun. It's fun. It's also exhausting in a good way.
Yeah.
And something else I've noticed a lot, it is much harder to use your brain than it is to use your muscles. Now, and then the two of them together, when you're doing both, that's exhausting. I never realized after talking so much and doing everything we're doing and putting myself out there in this, you know, to the NAACP and constantly spilling your heart out to people and talking, it's exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah. So building those relationships, it's not easy work. It takes energy. Yeah.
And I'm lucky. So this is where you can say I'm blessed or I'm lucky or or I just have this gift with people, because I don't know where I learned it, but luckily, like, it's a lot of who I am.
Yeah. And it's still time.
I like to talk. I like people. I like helping people. So I didn't have to read a book about how to do that. And yet it's still exhausting.
It's still exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like, this is who I am. And embracing that was who I am, by the way, was a whole nother thing I had to do. So here I am, 53 years old, and I will finally be able to say to you with confidence what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Which seems really interesting. I now try to own, like, you gave me a compliment how good I am with people. I now can say, yes, I am.
Yes.
And own it. And it's not a funny feeling anymore.
Right.
You know?
And the flip side of that is you can say, you know what, that's not my strong point. I'm going to get someone else to do that, without feeling like I should be able to do everything somehow. Like when you're younger and you think like, why can't I do this? I should be good at this or that. It's nice to be at that point where you say, like, I know what I'm good at, and I also know there are things I'm not good at, and that's fine. I'll get someone else to do that. Yeah.
And we cannot be good at everything, as we know in this cannabis business. You're learning, I'm learning, Heidi's learning. Right? You dig into it and you learn, and then there's times to say, like, the social media, knock social media.
Yeah.
Not my world. And I don't even need to know it.
Yeah.
You hire the right people for that.
Right. Right. So it's another, that's another kind of general lesson for business is, like, you need to do a lot yourself if you're a business owner, but it's great to be able to say, like, at some point, this is valuable. This is a valuable thing to do. We need to have it done. I'm not good at it. We need to get someone to do it for us. And so, like, we have someone doing the social media for that. That's a hard balancing thing to do when you're first starting out, right? And you don't have the funds.
Yeah. All those decisions we've had to make.
Yeah.
You know, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do there? You know, and then obviously, you know, as you see, we're going to run into times where we're conflicted, which we have. Right. You know, and once again, to me, that's all a part of it too. Right. So we're going to be able to look back and reflect on this journey, and we're going to be saying, look what we did. Yeah. You know, like, we've already achieved so much to this date right now. And I don't know how much of it you've taken in personally. That's what I mean. Like, I haven't even sometimes stopped to think about, holy cow, we just did that, or how unprecedented that platform is of the fundraising, or how little money we spent getting this far. Yeah. Like, all these things that are just like, have not been done. It's pretty wild when you think about it.
It is.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a great place to stop.
Okay.
So I don't want to go on too long. It was a great conversation. As always, it was really fun.